Today is a beautiful spring day. The sun has been shining all day. The birds are singing, you can probably hear them, and everything is in bloom. Every year, for as long as I can remember, I've watched for the dogwood trees to bloom. It was always a harbinger of Easter. Where I grew up, there are always a bunch of wild dogwood trees out in the woods. Their white blossoms were wisps among the other trees of the woods. But the dogwoods didn't just overnight go into full bloom. If you look closely, you'll notice that a small, dark, round bud will begin to develop at the end of each branch. There are no leaves yet, or any other signs of life, just this small bud. The buds begin to open very slowly, and they're green or purple in color, and they're quite tightly clenched. Then a hint of green begins to sprout to the branch as the leaves start to push out. Next, the false petals appear and open to reveal a brilliant white bracts, which surround the tiny true flowers of yellow in the center. As I was admiring a dogwood in our yard, I don't think I thought about all the things that were going on, but I should have. And it made me consider the coming of Palm Sunday, and then Holy Week, and then Easter. There's a lot that brings the full meaning of Easter into focus. There's a lot that brings us together with Easter. Without those things, the story is incomplete. Join us this week as we spend a few minutes each day considering the events of Holy Week. According to the Gospel of John, Jesus had been in Bethany with Martha and Mary and Lazarus. Mary had anointed Jesus' feet with oil, and Jesus had rebuked the disciples when they protested what she was doing. He said she was doing this in preparation for his burial. It was from Bethany that Jesus traveled then to Jerusalem, and the crowd around him longed to experience the salvation that had been promised by the prophets. And when they saw Jesus, some had heard about who he was, and they had heard that he possibly could be the one. And the shouts of Hosanna, save us, abounded. They weren't sure what he could do. They weren't even sure what they needed, but they hoped he could help. That is where I think we are today. Everything is in such turmoil in our world that we need to know something. We need help. But what kind of help do we need, and where do we turn? When we are unsure about tomorrow, Hebrews 13:8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When we are overwhelmed with anxiety, Philippians 4:6-7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind. When we feel abandoned in our time of crisis, Deuteronomy 31:6 says, be strong and courageous. Do not fear or be in dread of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. When we wonder if there's anything to be hopeful about, Isaiah 43:19 says, behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. As we journey through this Holy Week together, may we do so open to how God is going to answer us when we cry, Hosanna, save us.